is Simon Hypixel. With his Minecraft server dying,
Hypixel may have once been untouchable, but these days, Donut SMP smokes it most of the time.
and the game he developed for over 10 years cancelled.
Hightail is over.
A lot of people thought Simon was done for.
I don't know if the game really exists. I don't know if it is a Ponzi scheme.
And yet,
Hytale became the most watched video game on Twitch, that there were 2.8 million players on the day of release.
how did this random Canadian making maps in Minecraft become the face of Minecraft PvP and possibly the future competitor of Minecraft? Well, like 90% of Minecraft history, it involves Update 1.9, League of Legends, and oddly enough, Herobrine. You see, the year was 2012 and Update 1.4, the pretty scary update, was released. But unbeknownst to Mojang, it would forever change the lives of two dudes that live in Canada, Hypixel and his friend Rezis, also known as Simon and Philip. Oh, you're from Quebec. Simon Colin Laflamme and Philippe Touchette were two guys who used the command blocks that this update added to make adventure maps. Downloadable story-focused maps that use redstone to make puzzles and boss fights, with Herobrine's mention being the most iconic one. In fact, it was so iconic that it would make the two of them the most popular map makers. All thanks to a discovery that they made pretty early on. Content creators were basically a cheat code for marketing. In fact, they were even the reason I found out about Hypixel. But if you're in this age range, the same age range as me, you might feel old when I explain how I found out about him. I found him through an exploding TNT video about Hypixel losing his testicles to Notch. Yes, that actually happens in the video. Old Minecraft was wild. I mostly remember Captain Sparkles, Slam Account, and Crafted movie. This is Korean, by the way.
Now put more farts in this video.
After that, I went to watch the latest Rooster Teeth, Smosh, and PewDiePie Amnesia video, as well as other YouTubers, most of whom partnered with Machinima. I was also trying to make videos around this time, so I tried using Bandicam. Anyways, Boomer Zoomer rant aside, content creators being used as free advertising was such a good discovery that it exploded their YouTube channel to 100,000 subscribers, and even inspired them for any future creations they made. However, Simon had a problem. A lot of people knew about his maps, but they weren't playing them. Not because they didn't want to, a lot of them just didn't know how to make them work. This was before game launchers like CurseForge and Modvid were popular. So like, you had to move folders here and there, make sure your mods were working perfectly on the right version of Minecraft. And if you were playing with friends, like most were, multiplayer and clients were another variable in that cluster of YouTube. So ironically, despite Simon's sloth persona, oh my god, persona! The main thing slowing his growth to fame were the people downloading his maps. Hypixel and his friend Rezis had to do something. And they had the perfect idea. You see, the wise Gabe Newell once said, buy the Steam Deck and subscribe to XayXay for more in-depth video essays about people in Minecraft. Or, if you like fanboys. Wait, sorry, wrong quote.
Piracy is a result of bad service on the part of game companies.
It's not exactly about piracy, but the point about good service still stands. If Simon wanted more people to play their maps, instead of waiting for people to learn how to download it themselves, because let's be honest, that's not gonna happen. What if he just made it easier for them? What if he made a server where anyone could join and instantly jump in to any of his adventure maps? LFG? Let's YouTube go, which was such a perfect solution that he ironically had another problem. The server became so popular that there will be hundreds of people waiting in the main lobby for their friends to join.
Oi, you geezer. Your name's Tommy, innit?
Say that again?
So in response to this, Hypixel and Rezis took their experience creating PvP minigames like The Wall and made minigames to keep them occupied while waiting. Bow Spleef, snowball fights, Quakecraft, as well as other minigames renamed to avoid copyright, like survival games, The Blocking Dead, and Cops and Creams. What, are they breaking the law for masturbating? Unsurprisingly though, these minigames eventually overtook the adventure maps. And for some people, they even became the main reason they played on the server. They were super popular. A bit too popular, in fact. And so Hypixel and Rezzers, taking advantage of the server's PvP fanbase, they would release SkyWars. It's like survival games, but on multiple islands floating in the air. But crucially, they would take a page out of their adventure map days and create the infamous YouTube rank, motivating creators, well, mostly kids, but you know, motivating them to start posting videos about Hypixel, basically giving them free advertising. And with a new minigame in 2017, inspired and created by the legendary Suzume board.
Suzume, have you ever played Bed Wars?
I made Bed Wars.
They would skyrocket to the big leagues, next to other servers like Mineplex and The Hive. But most important, with multiple tiers of subscriptions, enough to make even Adobe say, that's too much. They were making a lot of money, an estimated $10 to $20 million per year, enough to sustain the server and a team of around 40 people, and to fund their own separate game if they wanted to. But they put this money to good use, investing it back into the server, making it eventually defeat the other servers, surpassing them in raw player count. With the Hypixel server hitting monopoly status, and with Minecraft hitting its golden age, it became the #1 place for PvP. And the final nail in the coffin would be Skyblock. It turned one of the most boring, grindy, and overrated maps, sorry, I just hate Skyblock, into a literal animal on a Minecraft server, and it ultimately gave us Xenoblade. But most importantly, it gave people a reason to stay on the server longer, allowing them to further dominate their competition. In fact, they were dominating so hard, the server even won 4 Guinness World Records.
Hypixel's popularity surged so high that it basically took over the Minecraft multiplayer sphere like a tidal wave.
Like a what?
Like a
With a rise this unstoppable, with all their competition falling further and further behind, who's gonna stop them? What's this 2014 event I conveniently skipped? Turns out, it would be Mojang themselves. You see, in the middle of Hypixel's rise to fame, Mojang added Minecraft Realms. And with that, they made changes to the EULA, specifically targeted at server owners.
Haha, I have a Minecraft server bigger than your official one, Mojang.
August 1st, 2014.
6 months. They were given 6 months, with a sweeping ban on any microtransactions that affected gameplay. Hypixel and every server owner were forced to remove everything that wasn't skins or cosmetics. And to give you a sense as to how heated things got, some server owners were so upset that they directed their hate towards Notch, which ultimately led to him selling Minecraft to Microsoft. The server suffered a devastating 85% revenue drop, 7 times less than the amount they had. But it wasn't so bad. It could be worse. And also low-key, I kinda agree with these changes. I see pay-to-win mechanics as cases of human rights abuse. I mean, this is just the start of update 1.9. It's not like this is gonna be the most controversial update or anything. 1.9 also introduced the combat update, and for a server centered around PvP mechanics. Forget being cooked, you were deep fried. The server was forced to make a choice. Stay in 1.8, where most of the player base were, or updating to 1.9 to keep up with the game. They were stuck between a rock and a hard place, and they chose the rock. But even with that aside, it was about to get even worse because there was a third problem that might not be solvable. Minecraft was dying! With a lot of players growing up and the game increasingly being seen as a kid's game, plus with the release of Fortnite and please don't make me talk about Fortnite, Minecraft faced a sharp drop in popularity, and it pulled down every Minecraft server with it. While the Hypixel server survived all of these, the same can't be said for their competitors. A lot of them never recovered, and eventually had to be shut down. It was a massive wake-up call for the Hypixel team. especially one person in particular. It was definitely a huge reminder for us that yes, you have this big community, but you still exist within someone else's playing field. Said Noxy, one of the 40 people hired during the server's expansion. But little did Mojang realize, Update 1.9 would radicalize this Minecraft server man into something bigger. Meeting up with Simon, the two of them had to plan their next move, with the former leaving for a new job at Riot Games. Foreshadowing is a literary device that writers utilize as a means to indicate the time they had was limited. Suddenly, the team had to rethink how they were going to fund a platform that tens of thousands of players logged into every day. Oh my god. Aaron Noxy Donaghy and Simon Colin Laflamme continued to correspond, with the latter asking the former if he was interested in coming back to further help Hypixel get back on track. And Donaghy said, I really wanted to, but I couldn't commit to work on a company that, it sounds a bit extreme for me to say, that I didn't really see as having a future. If your future is going to be just being a Minecraft server, it's probably not that sustainable for me as a person. But Colin Laflamme said he never made a game before. And Donaghy, with a whopping experience of 2 indie projects, said we need about 7 people, 18 months, and 700,000 to make a game. And Colin Laflamme replied, okay. Then Donaghy said, nice, I guess I'm hightailing my way out of here. And then Colin Laflamme went, Quoi? Would this a war? Okay, that last part didn't happen, but you get the idea. With Hypixel Studios officially formed, now came the next step, getting the 7 people that Noxy talked about. But turns out, finding the people to help them was the easy part. No need to find them if they were originally on the Hypixel server. On the 1st of May, I am moving from the Hypixel Minecraft server over to the Hypixel Studios team to work on Hytale as a gameplay developer with a specific focus on minigames. Like, just look at their LinkedIn. These are those who work on the server, and these are those in Hytale. There is a coincidentally high software engineering, media, arts and business skills for both, and a perfect mirror of computer science, computational science, and visual design degrees. I wonder why, while the rest of the crew were basically mod makers, an example of which is this person, Jelly Squid. You probably haven't heard of them. They made Lithium and Sodium, which only has like 99 million and over 166 million downloads. Not that much. Oh yeah, that's just ModRiff. There's another 84 and 125 million on CurseForge. So it's more like 183 and 292 million in total. But you know, they could do better. Like Jelly Squid could be hitting 80 mod numbers, which they also worked on, by the way. These mod developers completed the Hytale team. They were now officially a fully assembled team of chefs, and it was time to cook. On the 13th of December, they released the iconic trailer for Hytale. Oh my god, that's me, but orange! A coincidentally blocky game with suspiciously familiar mining and building mechanics, and a lobby that just so happens to have a plaza with a portal, just like the Hypixel server. And okay, that's just SkyWars. But crucially, they were going to do things different, with plenty of developers trying to make their own Minecraft and failing. Hytale was going to be an RPG with progression, story, and minigames on top of the sandbox. In other words, it was going to be the Hypixel server without the limits of Minecraft. The Disneyland experience, as they call it, is not just the minigames that makes the server popular. It's hanging out and being with your friends. And Hytale was going to be the same. It's not just Minecraft to them, which, you know, arguable, but... And to top it all off, they were going to separate themselves from other Minecraft clones by crucially supporting the modders and server owners directly. They were going to take their disagreements with Mojang's EULA and make Hytale their counter-argument. It would have to do what Minecraft couldn't or wouldn't. And what better way of achieving that than by helping the content creators of your game? But even with all this momentum, they still had one final problem. They had the 7 people. They got the 18 months. But none of this would mean anything if they can't secure funding for the game. Unsurprisingly, $700,000 was a drastic underestimate for a project this big. And Simon was also self-funding this project entirely with money from the Hypixel server. But that money was not infinite, and he now had the tough choice of keeping things indie, finding a publisher, or selling the IP. Ultimately, after deciding what's best for Hytale and seeing what would give it the best chance of succeeding, he decided to sell the IP.
What are we? Some kind of League of Legends?
With the trailer hitting 11 million views after its first week, over 2.5 million people signing up for the beta test, and the game winning 2019's most anticipated game, Hytale eventually caught the attention of Riot Games, creators of famous games like League of Legends and... yeah, that's about it. Having invested and supported them with millions of dollars across the years, in April 2020, they decided to fully acquire them, citing Hytale as a game that will reach players at multiple stages in their gaming journeys as one of the reasons they did so. The other reason they acquired Hytale is so the S in Riot Games would make sense. It's probably not true, but I'll continue to believe it because it's funny. With a planned release date of 2021, things look pretty set now. And keep in mind, this was a studio founded like 2 days ago by 2 people. Now it is a company with a team of people dipping their toes into game development. And with Riot handling all the funding and costs, the team was able to increase their production and, quote, avoid many common pitfalls of game development, like feeling the pressure to release too early. Is this what historians view? But at the studio's peak, Hypixel decided to step down as the CEO. As the team got bigger and as their standards got higher, Simon felt immense imposter syndrome, feeling that everyone kept getting better while he himself stayed the same. He felt that he wasn't good enough to stay on the team, feeling that Riot, with 10 years of experience, would be the best people to guide the team. He decided to step back, becoming an advisor for the team, only if they needed him. And so passing off the studio's ownership to Noxy, the friend who started this idea with him, Hypixel officially said goodbye to the studio. With team morale still at an all-time high, he placed all his trust on them to finish Hytale without them.
Thank you. Thank you.
Rito Games
Has freed us.
Oh, I wouldn't say free. More like under new management.
As the rest of 2020 went on, frequent update blog posts from the team before the acquisition became rare, dropping to once every month, before eventually dropping that too, with a blog post in December that didn't exactly sound confident. Something felt wrong here. The team that took pride in its communication became oddly silent. But shaking those feelings aside, many were still optimistic that the game would release in 2021, just as they planned. And on the 1st of July, 6 months after their last one, another blog post would finally release, confirming their suspicions, pushing the game to a 2023 release at the earliest. It would be their first delay, but unfortunately, not the last. As the game became more and more ambitious, and as they started planning for Hytale to be available across multiple platforms, the team decided to start over and remake the game in a newer C++ engine. Fans of the game who started off optimistic started looking at the game with more suspicion. Scope creep and targeting a simultaneous release on PC, consoles, and mobile. This sounds like a recipe for disaster. I think it's safe to assume Hytale has entered development now. And a year later, on July 23rd, 2022, stating that a 2023 release wasn't possible anymore, the game was hit with a second delay. But this time, they didn't set a delayed release date. And as the years went by, with no endpoint for fans to look forward to, with no beta tests or early access, excitement for the game dropped to its lowest.
I don't know if the game really exists. I don't know if it is a Ponzi scheme.
But even with over 10 years of development, even with a decade of work with nothing to show for it, some fans still clinged onto the shrinking chance that the game will still be released one day. But in the back of their minds, they knew the truth. They've always known the truth. And on June 23rd, 2025, Noxy would publish a blog post, his final blog post, confirming their biggest fears. After 10 years, millions of dollars poured into the game, despite thousands of fans and developers holding out on the slither of hope that the game will be released, Hytale was officially cancelled. It was truly over. And worst of all,
people have been making Minecraft 2 jokes, and I can see why they're doing that, but like, dude, I want to play this game. I'm so mad because the chances of me playing this game within like the next several months is so low. My only hope is that they'll do like one of those like YouTuber early access things and I'll have enough clout to get in. If any admins are listening, hook me up with that clickbait, please. I can even double as a QA tester, just inject this game directly into my veins. Oh my god.
there was just nothing anyone could do at this point. No matter what any Hytale fan or Hytale developer does, the game was lost forever. All that effort and passion will never see the light of day. However, with perfect timing, this was when Hypixel re-entered the picture. While all of this was happening, Simon went back to work on the Hypixel server, managing it across 10 years, all while watching the Hytale team tear itself apart from afar. He was there when the server reached 14.1 million unique players. He was there when the server won 4 Guinness World Records. And he even created the coronavirus just so the server would surge to over 150,000 players during the pandemic. He was comfortably successful, a multi-millionaire, managing the most popular server in Minecraft history. However, even though he now had the money and the confidence from all those years of working on the Hypixel server, Hytale just wasn't his anymore. He had missed his opportunity. He had already missed it when he sold it off 10 years ago. And the most important person who wanted to play it passed away, never ever seeing it. But what if? What if he just bought the game back? With hashtag #SaveHytale trending on Twitter, and the tech director of Hytale, Slikey, alleging that the game could be released if not for the new engine. On 13th of August 2025, inspired by everyone, Simon offered 25 million to Riot in the hopes that they let him buy Hytale back with the old legacy engine that he left the studio. And they actually said yes. On November 17, after months of negotiation, Simon had finally reacquired Hytale, confirming it with a blog post. But now comes the hard part. Actually putting the game through the finish line with the ex-developers he rehired and getting people excited for a game that people just accepted was dead. So he announced a release date, 13th of January, giving himself 2 months to finish the game for an early access. He knew he was taking a big risk. This tight deadline and a 25 million cost would change his life and his family's life for years to come. But he held the line, constantly updating with blog posts, gameplay showcases, breakdowns, and deep dives, keeping the passion for the game alive as hard as he can. And as promised, on the 13th of January 2026, the game would not be delayed for once, officially releasing as promised. And with the mod developers already in full force despite the game being in early access, plus the game selling 1 million copies, funding it for the next 2 years of development, the future for Hytale seems pretty bright. people are already praising the game, saying it's already pretty good, with the exception being IGN, saying it lacks direction. In other words, 7.8 out of 10, too much freedom. But crucially, people like Jeb from Mojang had positive things to say as well, praising it for its polish and wanting to return to it, but constructively pointing out that he wants the game to be less similar to Minecraft in its current state, and that as of now, he'd rather just play Minecraft. Which might seem obvious to us, but keep in mind, he'd rather play a game that he has worked on since its creation, a game he has to play every day for the rest of his life. So you know, there's some work to be done there. And usually, at this point of the video, I'd have some happy end about the people I talk about, where I talk about how they bounced back from their lowest point, then they recovered and their problems got resolved. And I think it's kind of poetic that this will be the first time that I can't do that. I'm a video essay YouTuber, not a fortune teller or a time traveler. Or am I? Hytale's story is just beginning, and Simon is simply entering another chapter of his life. And with expectations for the game rapidly and constantly increasing, only time will tell if he and his team could keep up with it. But with people like Jelly Squid and even the people from the Create mod in their team, yes, the legendary Create mod is on pause because they are gonna be busy helping the Hytale team. Just gotta let us cook for a bit. Wait, he's go back.
Laissez-nous mijoter un peu, on a d'autres surprises à venir.
They'll probably be alright. If Hypixel can survive after the EULA changes, if Hytale can survive 10 years in development hell, then maybe their future is more optimistic than it looks. But even with that aside, the fact is, without Skyblock or Hypixel, a lot of Minecraft YouTubers that we know might not be where they are today. Hypixel is the reason we have people like Tommy Innan, a Cookie God, and Technoblade. Hypixel is the reason I have my good friend, Skyborn, which makes me excited to see who Hytale would inspire next. Hopefully someone good, of course. But with all of that being said, I guess one question remains in all of our minds. Quite possibly the main thing you clicked on this video for. Will Hytale actually become competitive? Will it actually dethrone Minecraft? I think it needs 10 more years. If you've enjoyed this video, then check out this video about a Cookie God. Thank you to my YouTube members. 1H4Tev1S, AK Unscripted Chaos, Araya for Rio, Chizuru Ikeda, Fishdad, HotLikeTobasco, lreballofficial, MeiDynamic, Allus28547, Pen Consider, Spectere, Splulu, and TheFlyingFire.